Hey guys, my phone's being retarded. Sorry. Okay, so this thing is about to get on my nerves. I might just have to hold y'all. I think I am. So hi, how's everyone doing? It's Juicy. I'm pretty much here just a rant, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can feel my pain with this particular entity, this particular government entity. So I decided to do a rant just to kind of get this shit off my chest, get my frustrations and angers out, and, let other people know that, somebody else is feeling their pain, because I did a Google search, just looking at complaints for the same company, and there were so many. It's not really a company, like I said, a government entity. And there were so many. I was like, this is ridiculous. I had like no hope now looking at the complaints. So my issue is with the state of Georgia's Child Support Enforcement Office. Right, I know, retarded. So my daughter is 13. Well, she'll be 13 in August. Her child support order wasn't established until she was around 4. Like, we started it when she was 3, maybe about 6 months before she turned 4. And it went into effect August 1st. So she turned 4 August 15th. So it went into effect August 1st, right before her 4th birthday. And the crazy part was, me and him worked at the same company. I had all of his information. I think it's about to rain. And I'm stuck at work. Yeah, it's raining. I'm not really stuck at work. I'm finished, but I was just sitting here. I wasn't in a rush to leave because my back had started spasming. I have muscle spasms in my back. So my back had started spasming. So I was like, I'll just wait. I'll just wait it out and leave in a little while, get some stuff done for school on the computer and just wait. But the rain is coming. Anyways, back to what I was saying, or as my people say, out the rabbit hole. And sorry, my ex is like all in my inbox for no reason. I have no idea what he wants. Okay, just got that out the way. But so yeah, child support order started right before she turned 4, $400 a month, and he was supposed to cover her on health insurance and dental insurance. Now, he's never covered her on health or dental insurance. I've always done that because by the time that the child support order was enforced, I had another child. I had a son. So I had to put him on my insurance because he was born with a couple medical issues. At birth, he was born with a club foot, and he had hearing problems. So I had to put him on my insurance because he was going to require a lot of doctor visits, a lot of surgeries, different things of that nature. So I went ahead and put him on. And the price is the same whether you have 1 kid or 10. So it just made sense for me to just put her on too. So the insurance part was never an issue. It was just like I said, the $400 a month. And we worked at the same company. So it was, the employer took it out of his check. I got it every 2 weeks. We would get paid in 1 week. The next week I would get my child support payment. So it was like I always had a deposit coming every week. Amazing. I loved it. My daughter was in daycare, of course, because I worked. So, most of the money was really going towards like daycare stuff for her. I wasn't just like out balling or, how most men are like, oh no, she's taking care of herself with that money. I wasn't doing that at all. I'm pretty sure he thought that because he made comments like that, but I wasn't. She's ADD. My daughter is ADD, and she's medicated. She's ADD and she has insomnia. So every month she takes Focalin and Clonidine. Clonidine is sleep. Focalin is for, throughout the day. For her ADD, she takes 15 milligram extended release. Every year, the first prescription is like $300, somewhere around there, because it's the $100 deductible, and then the co-insurance. So once I pay I think it's like $289, $380, something like that. But once I paid that for the 1 month, the next month it goes down $100. So it's still expensive every month, you know. But he would be like, "Oh, that's what you get child support for." I'm like, you think those little $400 is paying everything that she needs, right? But okay. I never asked him for anything additional. I never went out of my way to say, okay, you pay $400. But in all honesty, the child support order also says that any extracurricular activities, he has to pay a portion of too, because that's his kid too. You know, like extracurricular activities are different. Like when they established the child support order, it was just basically solely on the expenses for daycare, school stuff, you know, like diaper. Well, at the time she was in the diapers, I'm sorry, she was 4. So like daycare, she was getting ready to go to school, just like regular expenses, eating, stuff like that. I've never been on government assistance. So, you know, they took everything into consideration, all of my expenses, all my expenses for her. They looked at my income and looked at his income. Now, I will say, before I went to put him on child support through child support enforcement, I tried to be very, very nice. So I said I was trying to move out. At the time I lived with my parents, and I was trying to move out and get my own place. So I asked him, I said, if you can pay 1 week of her daycare, that would help me. 1 week of daycare was $75. So all I was asking him to do is pay $75 a month. One week of daycare. He told me he couldn't do it because he was being audited by the IRS and they were taking money out of his check. Wasn't true, but that's what he told me. He was actually living very well, had a very nice vehicle, was driving around, was doing whatever he wanted to do. But that was what the story he told me. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'm trying to give you some leeway, benefit of a doubt. You know, my aunt, people in my family are always like, well, you know, yeah, it takes 2 people to make a baby, but, you know, you shouldn't ask for child support because you knew what you were getting yourself into when you made this baby. And so you knew that the man you were having this baby by was probably not any good and that you were going to be responsible. So you should just, you know, own up to your responsibilities and, you know, deal with it and move on. And I'm like, that's so idiotic. Like, that is the reason that these men go around and have child after child, because everybody tells them, oh, it's not your fault. It's the woman's fault for laying up and having all these kids. Like, I hear that. I still hear that to this day. People in my family, I still hear be like, oh, yeah, but he only going to do what you let him do. I'm like, how stupid is this? It takes 2 people to make a child, and it takes 2 people that should be there to raise the child. She's just as much my responsibility as she is his, but you know, people always act like it's just the woman's responsibility. And like I told my aunt when she said this a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I gave up my whole life. I was like, I had her when I was 19 years old. I got pregnant when I was 18. He was 21. 21, 22, somewhere around there. I was 17 when we met. He was 21 when we met. So by the time I got pregnant, he was like 23. I was 18 years old. When I had her, I was 19. So I'm like, I gave up my entire life. Like, at 19, I went into motherhood, gave up what I had going on, worked my behind off, and did what I had to do. So I don't want to hear that. Yes, now she's 13. I need help taking care of her. I can't do it on my own. So, you know, whatever. But this event is about child support. Child support enforcement. I know I'm all over the place because that's how ADD works with me. Just takes me forever to concentrate. But my rant is about child support enforcement. So for years, never had a problem. My child support was always on time. Like I said, we worked at the same company. I knew when he got paid. It always came the next week. Not a problem. He started dating this girl. She was crazy, blah, blah, blah. She ended up getting him fired. So now you don't have a job and you can't pay child support. Of course, because you're not working. Okay. He asked me if I would write a letter saying that they could stop his case for a little while he was not working until he found a job, and then he would, you know, pick it back up once he found a job. I was like, okay, you know, maybe. Because like I said at the time, he had been doing really well. I had never had any problems with him as far as paying child support. So I was like, okay, why not, possibly. So I call and they're like, no, the only way you can do this is to close your case out completely. And then you have to open a new case and you have to do the income paperwork again, all your expense paperwork. And then now they're going to base it off of his income now, which is nothing, and your income, and you're going to make more than him. Child support order is going to be way less. So I was like, I'm not going to do that again. So, we just went with him being in arrears. And I told him, I was like, I'll never go and put a warrant out for you to be arrested because I know that you're having a problem or whatever. So cool. He would pay here and there. It was always behind. His order is like $400 a month. He might pay $80 one month. He might pay $200 the next month. It was always off. And I never really made a big deal about it. They normally would take like a lump sum at the beginning of the year. I would get like $700 or $800, and that was fine. She went in the hospital. He came and was up there every day. Was signing paperwork because I would be on the other side of the room, and I'm like, you're signing paperwork, but you're not working at this moment, so you're not paying child support. And this bill is going to be astronomical, which is all going to be on me. So stop signing stuff. Because I was like, at that point, like, not feeling it. Like, just be here. Like, help me as far as, seeing about her while she's in the hospital. But you over there signing stuff like you really doing something. You making these people think that you really daddy and really mom does everything. So, and they realized that because he came up there with me one time, or he was up there, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna run home and shower, maybe take a nap, get some clothes or whatever. She called me the entire time, was like, when are you coming back? I'm like, your dad is there. I don't want him, I want you. So, the hospital really ended up seeing that mom does everything. But, he's been behind for forever. He moved to Florida. And he told me when he was moving, he was like, it'll work out better because I have a job. I'll be able to pay child support. I'll be able to get her for the summer, just kind of give you a break, whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. That sounds wonderful to me. So he moved. The child support issue was still kind of wonky. It was like hit or miss. He would pay. He wouldn't pay. They would say they have his employer, and then all of a sudden he doesn't work there anymore. So it was kind of like hit or miss. At this particular moment, I was going through so much that I was just like, I need for you to kick in at some point and help, because I was fighting eviction. Like, we didn't have money for food. Like, my car got repossessed. I was going through so much, and I'm like, I just need for you to kick in and help. You are thousands of dollars behind in child support. I just need for you to do what you're supposed to do. Of course, he had a million excuses, whatever. So, in dealing with child support services, which is what my rant is all about, child support enforcement of Georgia. So, recently, because he's so far behind, it's gotten to a point where I'm like, hold on. He works somewhere, because my daughter can call him and say she needs money for something, and if not that same day, by the next day, it's here. No matter what day it is, no matter what. She can say, I need money to pay my phone bill. I need money to pay for books at school. He'll just tell her, okay, we'll go pick it up tomorrow. It's never a problem. Like, well, I know if she asked me for $100, I would be like, we have to wait till I get paid, because I don't have money just sitting around like that, because I'm handling my responsibilities. So I'm like, this isn't right. So I've been in touch with child support enforcement. I'm like, something needs to give. Like, y'all are taking this little bit of money from him. I got like $30 in May and like $180 in June. So I'm like, this is crazy. My daughter asked him for some money, and he told her, well, I paid child support, so I can't send you any money. So I'm like, hold on, wait, what? So now she looking at me like, well, I need the money, and my dad said he paid child support. I'm like, no, he didn't. So I sent him a copy I took a picture of the screen and sent it to him and said, you're like $8,000 behind. He says, no, Florida says that I'm current and I'm good. Florida, we went over all my payments and I'm good. I'm like, how is that possible though? Like, you went like 2 years without really paying anything. So I'm not sure how that's possible. So he was like, oh, you need to check with Georgia and figure out where your money is, because I've paid it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. Gave me an instant migraine that particular day, but I was like, okay, I'm going to handle it, whatever. Friday comes and I email the office. Now, mind you, I've sent emails through the portal before and they're supposed to reach back out to me. Never did. I never heard anything back. I would log back onto the portal and see notes in my case activity saying, you know, custodial parent emailed about child support case. You know, they would have updates in the activity, but nobody had ever replied to me. Like, nobody ever took the time to reply to my actual email. So I would do the online chats. And so I was like, how do I file a complaint? Because how rude is it that I'm sending you an email for information and nobody ever takes the time to reach out to me? I have to log on, look into the case activity portion to see anything that's going on. Like, that's rude. They tell me how to file a complaint. I follow those steps. No response. Never heard anything back from anybody. Now, I have sent 4 supervisor complaints. 4. Not one has ever been replied to. They always make notes in the portal saying I emailed or I called or I chatted, but never once has anybody reached back out to say anything to me. So, okay, I'm pissed at this point because he's telling me he sent the money and I don't have it. And Florida is not taking any extra money out because they tell him he good. And I'm like, not possible. So, what the fuck is going on? I try to get in touch with Florida. They say, well, we can't give you any information. What you have to do is ask Georgia whatever question you have. Georgia will then ask Florida. Florida will give Georgia the answer back, and then Georgia can relay the answer to me. If this don't sound retarded, I don't know what does. So the lady I called in yesterday, and she says, well, can you go into a local office? I told her, I said, I have a job just like the rest of America, a corporate job, 8 to 5, just like the rest of America, just like your office does. And I don't have all day to sit in the office waiting on somebody to pretty much tell me the same thing or do the same thing that they do online. I don't have the ability for that. So if me coming to the office is not going to do anything, I'm not wasting my day of either vacation hours or not getting paid, putting myself in an even bigger hole to sit in the office all day. I'm not going to do that. So I was in a chat before I called. I was in a chat with one of the agents named April W. Most rude agent, most rude customer service person I've ever met in my entire life. I'm asking her questions. She's telling me, well, the most up-to-date information you've already received, somebody's already told you that Florida said that they're getting the payments. We sent a request over to see, why the payments aren't full payments, that you're only getting $180 a month, and you just have to wait 30 to 60 days for a response. We sent that June the 1st, so you have to wait another 30 days for a response. Do you think she allowed me to say anything back? I had, sent all the information. I told her, all my verifying information first. The first thing she does is ask me for my social security number or case number. I said, it's already there. Like, you're not even trying to do your job. Like, when I first opened up the thing and it said, what's your question? That's the first thing I do is run down all of my verifying information so that you can pull up my account so that when you see my question, you already have me verified. She was like, well, what's your social? I said, it's already there. I just copy and paste the whole paragraph again. Well, what's your email address and your telephone? I'm like, look, girl. But I was still very corporate and cordial. I was just like, I need to know what's going on. I was like, nobody wants to give me any help. People have been rude. I have followed all of the instructions that I was given as far as making contact. I was like, if I was on government assistance, I would get all the help in the world. If I was on food stamps, you would help me because y'all would want the money to get paid back in to repay food stamps. Or if I was on TANF or Medicaid, you would make sure that he was paying his child support so the government could get their money back off top. But because I'm a hardworking female, normally has 2 jobs, never been on government assistance, nobody really cares about helping me. Nobody really cares. So she said, pretty much you have to wait. That's all the information we have. We're not the enforcing state, so we can't really tell you anything else. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Do you know she sent me back a message and said, have a great day. Thanks for chatting, and close the entire session out. She didn't ask me, was there anything else I can help you with? Ma'am, there's nothing else I can do for you. Can we end the chat? I've given you all the information I can give you. She said, there's nothing else we can tell you. It's up to Florida because they're the enforcing state. Have a good day. Thanks for chatting. I was so pissed. I have never been so disrespected in my entire life. I was so pissed. So I speak to somebody. She's like, well, she thinks she's going back over the same information I've already had, that, that he has a job. They're getting it from his employer. It's not full, so they're trying to give him a little bit longer to see what's going on. And maybe since he just started with this employer, maybe he isn't making enough money. Maybe they don't have the order right. They're trying to work it through the system. So we're going to give him 60 days to get the payments to be complete payments. So they were giving him 2 months to pay these little, whatever amounts he pays. Like I said, 1 month was $30. The next month was $180. So it hasn't been the total $400. So they said they were going to keep giving him. They were going to give him another 30 days to see if the payments would be full. And if not, then they were going to start extra enforcement after the 60 days. She was like, but Florida may have told him he was okay, because if he came in and gave his employer information and, said he wanted to work on it, they would have told him then he was okay, because we're trying to encourage him to stay in contact with our office, tell us where he works, and make, some kind of a payment. So they probably did tell him he was okay as long as he makes the payments and gives his information. I'm like, see, that's completely different than what he said. I said, but the issue that I have is, she was like, this is the same information they gave you before. I told her, I was like, nobody has ever said what you just said. She was like, oh, well, yes, ma'am, this is the information we got back in May. I said, when I've spoken to people before, all they have said was, the payments came in from Florida for this amount. We don't know why. You have to wait. We have to give Florida 30 to 60 days for an update. I said, nobody ever said that Florida said that they were going to wait, the 60 days, see if the payments can be full from his employer, and then go after him. If not, if he's still making these little $30 payments, then they were going to go, freeze accounts, stuff like that. I told her, I was like, no one has ever said that to me in all the times I have called or emailed. I said, now let's just think about this. I said, now what you have said to me, I said, okay, I can understand that. Cool. I said, now I'm about to get off the phone with you, and I'm not saying anything else. I'm not going to call again. I'm not going to email. I said, so you think that if somebody had told me this in any of these previous conversations, that I would be at my job, taking my entire break to sit on the phone and hold to speak to somebody to tell me the same thing? No. There's no way I would do that. I said, I'm not an idiot. I'm not sitting here depending on child support to pay my bills. So I'm not going to sit here and waste all this time emailing or, sitting on the phone or chatting if I had any information. She was like, oh, yes, ma'am. Well, that's the information that we got in May. Like I said, no one has ever taken the time to say any of what you just said to me. So, she apologized. She was like, yeah, we just give it a little bit more time. I know everybody thinks that we're always trying to help the fathers, because she's like, she hears that a lot when they say, that they will tell them that they're good. If they come in and say, oh, I don't want my license to be suspended, they'll work with them. She was like, it's not that we're trying to help them. She said, it's just that we want to encourage them to be in contact with us. She was like, if we are dropping the hammer and always saying we're going to put you in jail or arrest you, they're going to stay on the run. She was like, but if we're like, okay, we'll work with you, that encourages them to come in and actually make some sort of payment. So I'm like, okay, I completely understand now. My issue is just that people are so rude and won't even take the time to look at me as a human being, as a person who needs some help, and not just a number getting on your nerves. That's all I'm saying. That's why I was like, I'm not a welfare recipient. And even if I was, I'm still a human being. You know what I mean? But in this particular case, I'm not. I'm not just sitting at your office all day because I have nothing else to do. I work. And like I told her, I was like, I can't tell you the last time before now. It was probably a couple of years before that I just worked one job. Like right now, I just have the one job. Normally I have two, but I have chronic pain conditions that are worsened when I'm working all the time. And then I don't get to see my kids, like I have to have babysitters everywhere. So yes, I quit my part-time job, but I don't feel like I should have to work myself to death in order to take care of my kids when it's not just my responsibility. But yes, my venting was about child support service enforcement and, the other stuff. Because, there's really nothing you can do. You get what you pick out here as far as children's daddies. Like I said, I was 17 when I met this man. I didn't know anything about anything. You know what I mean? Like, I had just broken up with my first love when I met him. My first love, me and him were together since I was 12, 13, something like that. We were together from that time until I was 17. He was my first everything. First love, first boyfriend, first everything. I had just broken up with him, so it was kind of like rebound. And then this guy was here, and I just fell for all the okie doke. I fell for the stupid stuff because I was naive and young and immature. And, all I knew was I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted to be in love because I wasn't content with myself. I didn't love myself. So I had to find somebody who would love me. So, I fell for the okie doke. Yes, I put myself in a crazy position. But like I tell people all the time, I stepped up, put my big girl panties on, and took care of my baby since day one. I worked from corporate America at the same place. My full-time job, I had the same job for 13 years. My daughter is about to be 13. I started working here right before I gave birth to her. So I've had the same job for 13 years. So I put my big girl panties on and did what I had to do as a mother. Even though I was young and immature and foolish, didn't love myself, didn't have really any self-love, self-respect, self-worth, self-esteem, none of that. I didn't. But I learned it over the time. Me and her grew up together pretty much. I'm 32 now. She's 13. And, we grew up together. We figured it out together, But I'm just like, for child support enforcement to be so rude, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I look online and I look at the complaints because I was just, wondering if anybody else was going through the same thing I was going through with them. And it was like, people were saying how money was taken from the spouses or the baby's daddies and they still have never received it. And it was years, like crazy complaints. But everybody has the same customer service complaint. The same, that they treat you like you are nothing. They act like you are getting on their nerves when they have to work. They will avoid you, just outright lie to you, hang up on you, delete emails, snatch stuff from you. Like, how in the world is this agency still running like this? I know they're government funded. I know that they don't really get paid based off of the people that need their services, got it good. But taxpayers pretty much fund them. And I'm a taxpayer, been a taxpayer since day one. So how is it that nobody can ever get a rein on them? Like, it's like they hire people who are just annoyed with life. Everybody that they hire just is like, I don't care about your problems. I'm annoyed that you're even bothering me. So I'm just like, what is the problem? Like, how many complaints can you file before somebody does anything? Like, I filed a complaint with, so mine is through, I started with the county's off, county offices, talking to the county offices. So I filed a state complaint. Yeah, I haven't heard anything back from that. I got the regular computer generated responses twice saying your complaint has been received, it's been forwarded and be reviewed and you'll be contacted. That's been twice. But I did send it on Thursday, so today is just Tuesday, so I'm giving it some more time. But my next complaint will be federal. But I'm in. Oh, that's another thing I said in the chat with the girl April. I said I filed a state complaint and my next step is federal. She said, "Well, okay, if you filed a complaint, allow the time for processing." That's when she said. She said, if you filed a complaint, allow the time for processing and review. Have a good day. Thanks for chatting, and close out. Like, she was just like, okay, girl, you already filed a complaint. Ain't no need for me to even talk to you again, because you don't deserve nothing now that you didn't try to go tell. That's how I felt. Like, she was like, you don't deserve any help now that you try to go tell on us. So, bye. But it's just like, I don't know how to deal with not being treated like a human being. Like, I've never had to deal with that. Like, ever. Once, maybe. Racist people. I live in the South. I had to deal with that one time when we went to a restaurant in Florida where they would never come in, they didn't want to come and serve us because we were all black. That was it. Other than that, I never really ever been treated that way. And it's ridiculous. So I just wanted to vent, get that off my chest while I was sitting here waiting for my back spasms to stop, which they have not yet. But I'm so used to it that I can sit here and act like nothing's going on. So I just wanted to vent about it and get it out there. See how many other people feel my pain, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on here that do. Now I have to wait for the rain to stop before I can go home. But y'all have a good night. Subscribe, please. If you're watching this, subscribe. I don't have a lot of content on my channel yet, but I'm getting there. I'm starting up, Like I said, I work full time and I just had a lot going on. I've been so stressed out. I've put on 70 pounds from stress eating. So I've just been so stressed out with stuff. It's just been ridiculous. I just haven't had time to really focus on my channel, but that's going to change. I'm going to start doing stuff like makeup tutorials. I get asked about makeup a lot at work, so why not? But thanks for listening. Thanks for taking the time to watch. I love you all. Hit the subscribe